Welcome back to the empty Turnabout. I feel like this is the place that we need to be at. I suppose let's go with the one piece that we want to be true, and then the one piece that is true. Well, that's your only two theories here. Balcony. Why am I objecting to myself? No other way someone could have been in the room. Of course there was. Although we could use this against Edgeworth, since Edgeworth inexplicably brought this up. Someone just used the same point of entry my client did. They then knocked out my client and framed him for the murder. And how exactly would that have worked, pray tell? Off the top of my head, there are 4 possibilities for what you just said, and none of them logically make any sense. Possibility 1. The defendant got into the study before the killer did. In other words, the defendant would have noticed the killer in less than a second. You mentioned no such thing happening, so let's move on. Possibility 2. The defendant and the killer entered the room at the same time. Moving on. I mean, that's actually... The trouble with that is that we have the butler's testimony. Possibility 3. The killer got into the study before the defendant. I will assume that is what you suggest happened. I still think that's the only thing that makes sense. Except it doesn't. In this scenario, there are 2 possibilities for what might have happened. One, the defendant was knocked down the moment he came into the room. That unfortunately does not make sense in light of the defendant's confession. I thought the point was to disprove the defendant's confession here. The defendant remembers shooting someone who came into the room and set the chain lock. Nowhere in the time from when he entered the room up to that point did he lose consciousness. So certainly he couldn't have been knocked out during that period. Leading us to possibility 2. He was never knocked out. The person was just there the whole time. In which case I must wonder, are you suggesting that the defendant was oblivious to a living, breathing human in the room for what was arguably minutes? Considering the adrenaline and the general emptiness of the room, well, let's just say it would have been difficult, no? You'll have to forgive me, I'm still trying to wrap my head around the fact that Edgeworth completely shat over the balcony as a means of escape. Yet, is expecting us to believe that the culprit used the balcony to get in. Without explaining how. So what's going on here? That's nagging at me. The killer wasn't a living, breathing human being? I can't help but notice that mythological creatures are being brought up suspiciously often. Is that some kind of foreshadowing? But is it a very poor one, Your Honor? It's foreshadowing. What if we hypothetically assume that the defendant really was that oblivious? Fine. Show some evidence that the person was there. Show some evidence as to why the defendant was so oblivious. Considering also showing that shows that this person X shot the victim and not Marston. Now at that point you'd be on a roll, as they say, so how about explaining the fact that the defendant says he shot the victim? Wait, better yet, okay, I get it, I need evidence. This might be a jury trial, but you're still supposed to show some basis for your arguments. Why wouldn't we put the defendant on first? Nothing. Other than just to draw this out and torture Apollo. In that case, I believe we should return to the cross-examination, Your Honor. I agree fully. Not really. I doubt the defense will find ground to stand on, but... Well, that was a waste of time. This is getting into bad territory here. You know what I mean? Oh shit, didn't mean to do that. want to do the door next, right? What? That's a lie! Not the door? What is? How could a rich guy just have one butler? It's called being cheap. Frank, they would have asked why the man didn't just get a maid instead, but you chose this. But question of maids is far more important, damn it. Okay. We know that the key was missing, right? Is there evidence that shows that? Oh, duh, of course there is. It's the key. Yeah, this is starting to get into Assistant's Turnabout level of accomplishing nothing. I think you've missed something, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, okay. I take that back. Mr. Arts didn't have his own study key. I definitely take that back. I still question why Edgeworth would suddenly believe in the balcony. Other than just flying by the seat of his pants to make things work. But I did call you out for missing the key and for not taking anything anywhere, and both is happening. We're making up for it. Instantly. Instant karma. Doesn't that mean someone could have used it to get into the study themselves? Don't tell me you have an instant fucking rebuttal for this, Edgeworth. Oh, come on! Seem to have gotten into the habit of leading you on before telling you you're flat out wrong. Okay, why the fuck? Why is this wrong? That's for the sake of making it clear that even if Y is true, your theory is still wrong. Then I tell you that Y is in fact... Just fucking say it, Edgeworth! However, I don't believe there's a reason for us to get into such an argument here. I'll just tell you straight away instead. You're wrong, Justice. Okay. You see, Mr. Arts believed that his key was missing. However, that was not the case, was it, Mr. Smith? Sorry, Mr. Lawyer, but I don't think anyone could have used that key that day. See, I broke it. You what? Mr. Art's key. I ended up breaking it a few hours before the party. Bloody thing just snapped in two. And the only use it ended up having was as junk for the trash bin, I'm afraid. There's a reason I said the key was unusable, Justice. Great. You okay, Ball? Thank you, Mr. Smith. Your testimony was most enlightening, I assure you. But the defense would like to end the cross-examination. End it? Mr. Justice, are you sure? Of course I am. I'm not sure that's a wise decision. After all, etiquette here means that you found no contradictions, does it not? That in turn means you kind of... Okay, fuck off, Judge. What the fuck, dude? Justice, are you certain you want to end the cross-examination? I am. No further questions for the witness. Apollo? That's pretty brave of you, lad. Reminds me of my master, actually. I don't think Mr. Justice can appreciate that, given the facts about Mr. Arts. In any case, you may leave the stand, Mr. Smith. I'm hoping it doesn't end here for you, Mr. Lawyer. That would be pretty disappointing. I still say you're actually Mr. Arts. And here we are again. It would have only been a matter of time before the judge stopped the cross-examination himself. Would have then asked me if I found something proving my client innocent in all this mess. My answer would have to be no, of course. After all that testimony, all the prosecution's case, was designed so that I wouldn't have a single chance of fighting. I see it now. I was so focused on trying to show a trick another culprit could have used, that I failed to notice the one he was pulling right in front of my eyes. Well played, Mr. Edgeworth. And in trying so hard to prove me wrong and shred everything I had to pieces, you exposed yourself. course, knowing that isn't enough. Now that I know the game, can I actually play it? Mr. Justice, you ended the cross-examination. We have not found anything contradictory so far in any of the evidence we've seen, or in any of the testimony we've heard. Does this mean you are willing to change your plea? Yeah, I can play. That would be a pretty stupid thing of me to do, Your Honor. After all, I know how to prove my client innocent. You know, a sensible person would have just changed his plea, hoped for the best, and gone home. So now, I have to question. Am I a sensible person? And my answer choices are... hell no, or hell no. You've got that right. Yeah, I didn't think so either. He doesn't exactly look surprised. I don't need him to be. Because no matter what he tries at this point, I'm the one that holds all the cards. You finally have it figured out, Mr. Edgeworth. You tried so desperately to perfectly present your case. And hell, you did. Unfortunately, you didn't focus quite well on making it foolproof. That's especially apparent when given into the hands of idiots like me. Not bad. You actually figured it out. Your Honor, given the facts and the testimony Mr. Edgeworth has presented up to this point, the defense would like to present a theory in which another culprit could exist. Excuse me? But Mr. Edgeworth just explained why nobody else could have been in the room. Those are some big words, Justice. I wonder, can you really stand behind them? Considering that right next to you is the King of Bluffs. Is it so unnatural to assume the student has become the master? Please. He couldn't if he tried. Sorry, Edgeworth. No bluff over here. Oh, interesting. I believe that should be put to the test. Big penalty? That's quite the penalty. And why shouldn't it be? Mr. Justice is saying he can prove his client innocent. If he cannot, then it is obviously a bluff, as I suspect it is. If it is a bluff, he should be punished for it. After all, with the things being as they are right now, the trial will end anyway. Fair enough. I accept. Not that you had a choice of accepting it or not. Seeing you confident like that, make me think that you might be bluffing. Heh. Of course it's a bluff. But putting aside that fact that I have nothing to lose even if I'm wrong, I'm not here to present something necessarily right anyway. And all this time I've known you, never thought I'd say that I don't follow your reasoning. It's simple. You present a scenario in which another culprit can exist. I doubt I can support it with evidence. But the point is that the prosecution won't be able to disprove it either. At least, not with what they've presented so far. So, given the choice, what theory do you think the jury will go for? The one supported by evidence, or the one supported by the defense's wish list? Imagine the answer would be obvious. The circumstances were different. Forgetting who the defendant is. Defendant? Ah. Well, that's why Edgeworth has been in overkill mode. Betting that he'll want to actually try and disprove it. Naturally. The only way he'd be able to do that, given everything, is... Is he a prosecutor? So that's what you are. Basing on something so obvious slipped right past us. Been going on and on about it, dangling it right in front of the jury's faces. Just so that he could have an excuse for not presenting it properly. He knows it could be my greatest weapon in this situation. Oh. It is... We haven't heard the defendant's confession yet, have we? And Edgeworth has been... Yeah, I was just getting mad about that, how Edgeworth has just been prancing around everything else. And not calling the defendant. That's right. Mr. Marston's confession. The truth is, everything Edgeworth presented up to this point were facts. From outside the room. While knowing that what's important. What can prove my client innocent, especially considering the lack of evidence, is what the apparently only person inside the room saw. All this time, he's been picking out statements from Mr. Marston's confession, without actually presenting it in full. And that is his trick. Which means, if he was so determined to hide it, then there is something that weakens his case in it. Alright then, let's hear it, Mr. Justice. And that's why. You need to come up with a theory that will force Edgeworth into calling him to the stand. Thinking about it, though, you still need to do something that's impossible on its own. What theory of another culprit can you possibly come up with, given the information you have? Your goal here is to put Marston in the spotlight. It has to be something only he can disprove, considering he was inside the room. And yet, you know nobody else could have been inside the room. Right? Justice. No running. It might be hard. Hell, it might be impossible, but there must be a way. There must be something about the case I can use to come up with an alternative explanation. Alright, here it goes. First thing I need to answer is, where's the culprit in this scenario? Inside or outside the room? Inside. I don't know how. He had to have been inside the room. The culprit was inside the room. Got in using... Balcony? Balcony. We got back exactly where we were just a few moments ago. I'd have it your way. How would the defendant not notice anyone else in this study? The floor plan. This? Okay, so there's 3 parts to this. You don't sound very sure, Mr. Justice. I totally am? You totally aren't. Your Honor, if you will. No. Wait a sec. I just got confused, that's all. And you picked the wrong time to get confused. Bam. Oh, man. That penalty. Well, that's what happens when you bluff, I guess. Bluff and fail miserably, I mean. Wait a second, Your Honor. Let's rewind. Outside the room. Just I'd like to believe someone else was in that room. Yeah, I don't think it was inside. Edgeworth's argument still stands, true or not. If there's someone else, I don't have the evidence to prove it. The culprit was not in the room. Mr. Edgeworth had said my client would have noticed a living, breathing human being in the room. Much as I hate to admit it, then the culprit must have been somewhere outside the room. Impressive. In that very statement, you destroyed your entire theory. Take a look for yourself. If the culprit was not in the room, there's nowhere he could have been, Justice. There were no secret passages or extra bullet holes in the wall. Assuming by culprit, you're not talking about your client, of course. Can't let him scare me. Come on, Justice. Think. The culprit was not in the room. There was no extra bullet holes of any kind or secret passages. So only one position he could have shot the victim from, the balcony. This? Not the balcony. Okay. Well, that kind of fucks my nuggets. Just want to show you what the correct answer is here. It is right here. Here! This is one of those Ace Attorney game answers where the answer is only makes sense in hindsight. There are so many things wrong with it, I don't even know where to begin. And you just kind of have to guess and check your way to it and then find out why that's the right answer. What? The killer was outside the mansion. Okay, so Could he float, or did he use bending bullets? Please say bending bullets. The killer... Well, here's the obvious. I wonder which choice is correct. I'm not doing it. Did neither, obviously. Well, then you have an issue. Use your brain, Justice. How did the killer manage to get into a position to shoot the victim? They were on the 2nd floor. Map's obviously fake. Map is accurate. That actually gives me an idea. Please be sensible. There's nowhere on this map that you can show where the killer stood. Accurate. You're absolutely correct, Mr. Edgeworth. There's absolutely nowhere on this floor plan that the killer could have been standing. Glad you agree. Now then, can we... Wait. That's right. I can't show it on this diagram, but I have something else I can use to show where the killer was. Oh boy. It's on the bridge. Here. Take a look at the bigger picture. Can't be seriously suggesting. You said it yourself. There is no room for a person X on that peak. If the killer was here, then there would be no problem with that. Okay, not there. Okay, what the fuck are we supposed to point to now? Okay, no. No. Bottom corner? No? Okay, fuck this. What the hell? Are you fucking serious? You wouldn't accept the... No, no. It's not that. Okay, this one lower level portion of the fucking... Okay. I'm gonna have to show you this again, to show you what is this bullshit. I'm getting where this is going. Long distance sniped. So, not here, not here, not here, not here. Well, this is guarded, so that does make sense why it's this. Not here, 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 but here! Touchdown. Right here. The true killer was on the other side of the abyss. This specific part of the abyss, for some reason. Don't know why. I'm sorry, but you're just being ridiculous now. There's nothing suggesting that someone was there. Furthermore, I'm not sure exactly how one can make a shot from that distance. That's easy enough, Your Honor. Just a matter of the weapon. It's technique versus weapon. The weapon. Weapon? Think about it, Your Honor. A weapon of this kind could allow a shot be made from the long distance. We have to text entry, so... Sniper. Essentially, a sniper rifle or any kind of long-range weapon would do. That's hypothetical evidence. Again, you have nothing suggesting there was such a sniper. You're right. You don't have anything proving a sniper was there. But I have something showing that an assassination would have made sense. Or it's imitation? Someone was planning on killing him? Just think of who the victim was. Police officer involved in a scandal. Disappeared for years. The scandal itself was high profile and potentially hurt a lot of people. Upon finding out that Ian Arts was still active, they decided to act. Found out? Found out how, exactly? They couldn't track him down at this point. How would they have done it now? Invitation again? Simple. They got their hands on one of these. The invitation. Take a look, Your Honor. It not only has confirmation that Ian Arts is alive, but also his location. And how do you suggest they got their hands on these? I don't think we can propose an idea or say it doesn't matter. I don't think it matters, but... Although, maybe we have an idea. I might have an idea. Someone was able to get their hands on the invitation through... getting the thing. The person that hired the assassin was one of the guests. That's... I can't argue against that. Justice strikes again. In any other circumstance, chances are the shot would have been pretty hard to make. In this case, the culprit was given a perfect opportunity. After all, thanks to this fact, the view into the room was perfect. The balcony was open? The balcony door was wide open. Before you ask, that's why there was no clear trace of the bullet entering the room. Entering is one thing, and exiting is another. This is a bullet from a sniper rifle you're talking about, as ridiculous as this whole idea is. The bullet goes into the room as you suggest and hit the victim. That is what I'm assuming you're suggesting happened, at least. Well, duh. What happened to the bullet? Was there an exit wound? We'll find out by presenting Art's body. Oh, come on. Thought you'd do better than that, Mr. Edgeworth. It's simple enough. The bullet got lodged in the body. Considering the distance, and the possibility that the rifle might not have been that powerful, it never managed to leave the body. And because the body disappeared, so did the bullet. I can't believe you're still able to be smug about this. Let alone continue suggesting something this ridiculous. Your fault of being smug for 90% of the trial so far. You always gotta leave something for the defense. Otherwise something like this could happen, I tell ya. Did we pass? This is it. Your Honor, the defense is ready to present its theory to the court in full. As mentioned before, a lone sniper was set up on the other side of the bridge. It was sent there upon the discovery of Mr. Art's location through his invitation. They waited until a chance finally showed itself to them. Through the open balcony, they saw a scene play out. The defendant and the victim in what appeared to be a struggle. And yes, the defense agreed that the defendant waited for the victim to come in the study. The defense also agrees that a struggle occurred between the two. It's apparent by the fact that this exists. Gun? No, Justice. Come on, think for a second. Balcony? Body? Door? Key? Bridge? Butler? Okay, what? Oh, it's blood. You did find traces of the victim's blood in the other parts of the room, after all. However, the defendant is not the one that killed Mr. Arts. That was the work of a well-placed shot by the sniper. The reason why no traces of that shot were found was the fact that the bullet most likely got lodged in the victim's body. Since the body ended up disappearing, so did the bullet. That is the biggest pile of nonsense I have ever had the honor of pulling out of my ass. It's the truth.
Objection!
That would give him a reason to... Oh no. Here we go. How amusing. I truly do believe that not even Wright can rival you now. Unfortunately. Your theory has a fatal contradiction in it. Contradiction? Do you remember how the discovery of the body came to be? Well, that's simple enough. They heard a gunshot coming from the... Oh, crap. They heard a gunshot coming from the study. And what is it you just suggested? A sniper rifle? Last I checked, you can't get sniper rifles to sound however you want them to. Especially make them sound like they were fired at a different location. Damn it. Damn it all. Didn't even think about that. Guess he finally decided to bring that up. You knew? Of course I knew. Guess some things never do change around here. By the way I see it, you can explain this issue in two possible ways. Uh-oh. It's giving advice. Run! 1. The witness heard a genuine gunshot coming from the room. In which case, the only logical explanation would be that it came from the only gun in the room. The one that the defendant was holding in his hand. In which case, you might as well be flushing your theory down the toilet. After all, if the gun was fired, it could have only been fired by the defendant. If it was fired by the defendant, then do you have any evidence the bullet didn't hit the victim? Actually, considering the victim is the only place the bullet could have gone, I think you might as well be admitting to the charge of murder. And the second option? Simple enough. The sound the witnesses heard was not that of a gun. In which case I have to question what the witnesses actually heard. But even then, that's an issue. The gun was tested. It was fired on the night of the murder. Trying to show the gun was not fired on in that study was a problem all on its own. Before we actually get to that, Edgeworth, surely you figured out why this theory exists at the moment. Might be old, right, but I'm not blind. Well, I mean, you do have those glasses. Well, in that case, why don't we make things a bit more decisive? It's obvious that if all this work turns out to be a bluff, the trial might as well end right there. Except it is a bluff. But here's the deal. Since we all know what's really going on here... I'm still a bit... Shut up, Judge. You called me stupid, so I'm gonna call you stupid. Jackass. Apollo gets one shot to explain why the problem in his theory exists. Keyword, however, is explain. Doesn't need to present any decisive proof. He presents something you can agree is logical. Then we call the defendant to the stand and have him confirm if any of this is true or not. After all, regardless of the gunshot explanation, he still would have known if a sniper bullet came out of nowhere and shot the victim. And if he doesn't, you hand the case over to the jury. Simple as that. Very well. I accept those terms. Sucker. What was that, right? Nothing. One shot. What the hell? What the hell am I supposed to explain this? Oh, come on. Don't stop now. I just did half your job for you. You don't need to present proof, you need to present an explanation. Big difference, wouldn't you say? I don't believe it. Even now, he's still pulling me out of trouble. Damn it, Justice. Why are you doing this? Okay. Deep breaths. Just calm down and think about this for a second. Setting conditions right in my own courtroom. I like that kind of initiative. Very well, Mr. Justice. We're all ears. Okay, what explanation was am I going for? Our choices are actual gunshot, or there wasn't a gunshot. I'd say actual gunshot. Am I sure this is the path I want to take? Let's do it. There really was a gunshot in the room. Gun in question had to have been fired by the defendant then. No bullet holes in the walls. Couldn't have gone into the victim. It could have, but that doesn't really make for a good case, does it? However, my client did not shoot Mr. Art. He shot the balcony. He shot out the balcony, actually. There was a struggle in that room. The gun was most certainly fired by Mr. Marston. Not at the victim. Instead, the bullet went through the open balcony door. At the moment, the victim got hit by a bullet from the sniper and died. Very well. I accept that explanation. Seriously? I accept that explanation for that. The explanation for that inconsistency. While your theory is borderline mental. I suppose without the defendant himself to deny it, I can't do much about it. Still, your version of events is more probable, Mr. Edgeworth. Chances are the jury would vote in your favor. I'm aware, of course. However, if possible, I'd rather not have a possibility unexplored, especially when I have the means to deny it on the spot. You really have missed this. Perhaps there is some method to this madness. You managed to see right through me, something not many people can do. Heck, most would have just given up. But I should have known better, shouldn't I? You really are his student. As per our agreement, the prosecution would like to call a recess to prepare the defendant to take the stand. Very well. Court will take a 30-minute recess. Which is good. My bladder feels like it's going to pop any minute. Minutes. Guess I have a phone call to make then. Beware, Justice. As far as I'm concerned, this was just the opening. The little stunt you just pulled gave you a few more hours. Let me assure you, this is a court of law. I've seen liars, murderers, and cheats walk through these doors. After all these years, I can tell you that I've learned the one thing that never changes. You cannot hope to win by petty guessing. Wright might think he fixed the system, but I believe that he only sent it further down into darkness. Oh. It doesn't matter what I think. What matters is what they think. Let me make this clear, Justice. From this moment on, the time for playing is over. One wrong move and I'll destroy you. You may think you've gotten some control, but it's still my game. Apparently Edgeworth got old and became a fucking chess master again. A ruthless courtroom chess master again. Well, oh god. Well, I suppose the justification for that would be everything is so in his favor that he essentially can't be swayed. All the evidence is so dramatically favoring his side that he's just got everything lined up like pawns, ready to deploy and crush the opposition. It's very weird, but sure. Now loaded. Very combative Edgeworth. No clear explanation as to why, but again, we still don't have Marston in our profile list. Makes me wonder if he's in some... I mean, what am I doing? We'll find out soon. So, can you do it? That sounds like a lot, you know. It is a lot. But you're the only person in the world I'd trust with this. It's important. You really know how to convince a girl, you know that? I suspect there's only one I can convince. Alright, I'm on it. If this is really important, I won't fail you. I know you won't. Never really had the time to look into that incident too deeply, but if my hunch is correct, culprit won't be able to dig their way out of this one. Hi. Phoenix again. Yeah, that annoying old man. That's probably what you're thinking, right? Well, look. I'm just making sure you're okay. You haven't been returning my calls, so if it's any consolation, I'm a little annoyed too. Not in I'm angry sense, annoyed, just worried, I guess. So, yeah. Trucy's gonna be pissed if you don't call. Got it? Oh boy. We really are going through the 5 stages of grief, aren't we? I don't freaking believe it. I mean, how could she have been so stupid? Christ, I thought she of all people would have known better. Jesus, does Wright even know? Huh? Damn it. Damn it. How could this have happened? Oh, hello. Alright, here she is, Mr. Justice. You're a detective? This time? Hi. Hi, Polly. Much as I hate rubbing salt in the wound. I will need to notify social services on this. Social services? What? Is that really necessary? This is her first offense, right? No doubt about that, sir. Hey, if it were up to me, I'd send her home with that angry look of yours. We're talking about property damage here. And it's the owner's pressing charges. I'm afraid this can't get past the court. So, yeah. The judge is going to ask for a report. He doesn't get one, and I'm the one with the negligence problem in my hands. I see. Officer? Alright, kid. It is what it is. But I didn't mean to do it. Yeah. I know. Can you say the same about getting drunk in the first place? What? Of course I can. Trucy, you're 16. I didn't know it was that much. Please. Don't get Daddy involved in this. What the fuck is going on? It'll never happen again, I swear. Believe me, miss. I want to trust that more than anything else. We detectives, we gotta learn to doubt things. But it's true, I promise. Doesn't change what you've done. What is this days of our lives bullshit? Saying sorry isn't enough. How much should be obvious when it comes to anything? Not if you mean it. This won't look good. I get it. My hands are tied. You understand? Polly. Listen. Don't go too hard on her, Mr. Justice. Take it from me. There are far, far worse things in this world to be mad about. Say some idiot forgetting to file away some pieces of evidence. Get assigned a crazy to crazy purple-haired chick with the fashion sense of a hippie. A dare. Getting your coffee with sugar when you specifically asked without goddamn sugar. Well, that's a hell of a list. Thanks for the advice. We've all been young, you know. We've all made mistakes. You just gotta make sure you learn from them, right? Let's just go. Worse things to be mad about. Not so sure about that. So Athena's a murderer and a sociopath. Trucy's underage drinking and vandalism. And Apollo is very nihilistic. It was a party. Everyone was doing it. Oh no. It was just a sip. Look, I'm sorry. I don't know what I was thinking. I'm so stupid and idiotic and... Please. Don't be mad. Please. Knock, knock. Knock, knock. Pretty sure this is the part where you say who's there. It's sort of the way the joke works. Oh, Polly? Well? Look, what do you want me to do? Scream off the top of my lungs? Make a scene? Say that I hate you? Say that you're an idiot? Well, the last one you did on your own, but, you're alive and well. That's all I care about. Don't get me wrong, you screwed up, big time. Don't think for a second I won't tell Mr. Wright about this. Getting drunk is one thing. Destroying property for a drunk magic trick is another. You'll be punished accordingly. All the yelling you don't get from me, you will probably get from Mr. Wright. Yet he'll be worried just as I am now. Considering the time, I bet he already is. Once he finds out about you needing to go to court, he'll be even more, I imagine. It's a miracle that I ended up being Trucy's emergency contact. Also, just to be clear, I'm pissed off to high heaven. But... dramatic pose. Not because I want to be angry at you. It's... the fact that you could have gotten hurt. You could have poisoned yourself. And then what? What kind of an end would that have been? You deserve better than that. Everyone does. I can't hate you. I can't even be truly angry at you. Because you're my sister. Guess this is the first time I've ever actually said it. Trucy, better or for worse, you're my sister. While a part of me will forever hate your father for hiding it from us for so long, I can't hate the fact that I now know you're there. That you've always been there. And the first time in so long, I'm not alone. We are not alone. So no matter what, we have to stick together. I know you well enough to see that you're sorry. Because I love you, I trust that you won't do it again. Some people would say that's a weakness, but I don't. I know. I've been sort of avoiding you lately, but I need to come to terms with everything going on in my life. This past month, looking back on things, I've seen so many things that have gone so wrong. It almost sent me over the edge at times. While I was so focused on the bad things, I ignored the good ones. I can't be mad at you, Trucy. Because no matter what mistakes you make from now on, We're in it together. We always will be. Ollie! You'll defend me, right? Doubt I can do much about it. The evidence was at the scene. To Daddy, I mean. Yeah. Yeah, I will. We all do stupid things every now and then. Yeah, I guess we do. Knock knock? Who's there? Don't be silly. No matter who, no matter what, I'll protect you. That was a hell of a jarring aside. Good to know underage drinking exists in the Ace Attorney universe, I suppose. She's still grounded, you know. Don't you think 5 months is a bit much? My original suggestion was a week, actually. Once that expired, she felt like it was necessary to make it a bit more definitive. I imagine she'll get over it once you get back to the office. Thinking of which, when's that happening, anyway? I'm not sure. Oh, come on, I didn't come all the way out here to come back without a Bali. Should have figured. Soon, maybe. Not sure if you'll have the same motivation after all this is all over. I suppose I kinda owe you one. You did manage to get the charges against her dropped, so... Guess you managed to reel me in. Again. Apollo, she's still right. No matter what you may think of me. Yeah, I know. There's a lot wrong with you, old man. But you're not someone to give up on the people you love. Well, what now? Waiting, I guess. Not much I can do to steer things in the direction I want them to. After all, Edgeworth gets to prepare Marston. But that's okay. I imagine it is. It's a miracle he decided to bite and let us continue. Whatever it is that was. It was a theory. The fact that Mr. Edgeworth seemed to be determined to crush every bit of hope I have left. Well, that's not something I'm responsible for. Crush every hope that you have left. Interesting way of thinking about it. Well, true, maybe that's a wrong way of looking at things. After all, as I said, all things considered, he's just doing his job. Make sure there's no doubt remaining in a case like this is essential. Last thing anyone needs are conspiracy theories. True enough. On one hand, you have the great Ian Arts. On the other hand, you have a police detective as the defendant. Okay, he's a detective, not a prosecutor. This kind of thing is something bored people usually go after. Is he the detective who gave us Trucy? Who released Trucy to us in this flashback? Is that what we're getting at? Is that Marston? We got to mention creative. Same can be said for that sniper theory, though. I am creative, you have to give me that. Pretty impressive you managed to come up with something like that on the spot. Reminds me of the good old days. Yeah. Gotten enough comparisons with you from Mr. Edgeworth. If you'd told me that I was like you a year ago, I would have taken it as an honor. Now it feels like I'm being called a mental patient. You mean you aren't? Chances are I am at this point, but it's still not nice when people call you out on it. As much as I was shitting on that segment for being too much, whole underage drinking segment for being too much, I actually really like this portrayal of Nick as post-Apollo Justice gets his badge back, but is still a bit of a head case. Phoenix Wright. Hobo Nick. I like it. It has a certain believable charm to it, I guess. After all, just look at the mess this case already is. Any nutcase would agree to get twisted with it. First off, we don't even have a body. And yet nobody seems to be taking it into account. Still not over that, huh? When it's the closest thing to proving my client innocent? Yeah. Guess I might have an issue or two with it. Still, good needs to come from Mr. Marston's testimony. Most that bluff will be the least of my worries. Just let me call her to the stand. And I'll do the rest. Not sure who I'm talking to, but... Apollo! That voice. That was really something. Gotta admit, I actually thought we were in the red for a second there, but... managed to bounce right back. We were in the red? If I don't really approve of how you managed to do it. But still, amazing. Are you on that? Thank you, Mary. Do you hate me, or do you not hate me? I don't understand. Miss Adair? Oh, hello. Strange hobo man, I presume? At your service, miss. That would be my boss. For better or for worse. Phoenix Wright. Former legend. Professional piano player / illegal gambler these days. Need to give her the full profile. Yes, because submitting that you're a gambler in front of a detective is such a great idea. So I've heard. But hey, your employee's doing a fine job in my book. Sorry for the attitude on the stand. Oh, okay. They told me that's usually the best approach for the jury. Oh. A detective cannot cheer for the defense. Oh, okay. That makes sense, then. Suggesting otherwise would have been sacrilege. But you didn't need me cheering for you, as it turns out. I mean, wow. How did you come up with that? He works well under pressure. I'll be honest, I was partially just going off of what made the most sense. Given the information I had to work with, I mean. Right. I still don't get what was up with that whole body issue. How could they just look past that? Thank you. My question exactly, actually. But to be fair, the prosecutor committee would have wanted this case wrapped up as soon as possible. I'm not sure Edgeworth had a lot of say in the matter. Not to mention, like it or not, he still has had basically a day to prepare his case. Well, unless he wasn't really supposed to prosecute. He had a confession, so they decided to put the obvious suspect on the spot. The murder is all that matters to them right now. Everything else, just something to be taken care of later. That later will never come, Mr. Wright. I've seen it myself. After a trial, the evidence is just locked away and forgotten about. The main problem's solved. Nothing else really matters. Never said it was an ideal solution. But even with that, I still haven't given up on Nathaniel. He's my client. It's my job to stand for his innocence until the end. Regardless if he likes it or not. Heh, that's certainly one way of looking at it. I never actually considered the possibility, but with the way things are going, you might actually get him a full acquittal. That's optimistic. Too optimistic. Huh? When the trial reconvenes, everything Apollo brought up will probably go down the toilet. What? The only person that could possibly destroy my theory is Mr. Marston himself. Nobody says I killed him, or there was no sniper bullet. The moment the jury hears those words, everything falls apart. My chances of winning go from bad to catastrophically low. I need to start over from scratch. If his confession ends up being foolproof. In actuality, all I've done is potentially set myself for an even bigger defeat. Putting my faith in the fact that something else happened in that room. Something only Mr. Marston can actually help me with. But there really was no way for anyone to have been there. Then... But What if he confirms it? What if he says that maybe there was a shot that came from outside? What if he says he really could have missed arts? Then we figure out what happens next. That really was the case. He wouldn't have confessed in the first place. Fair point. Oh, okay. We're just fading right in. Half an hour since I made that phone call. Okay. I was hoping for not an immediate transition, but fair enough. We'll end off here. Until next time. Until then.